Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about Week 2 running back rankings for fantasy football in 2020. I do rankings for every single position on this channel, so if you guys want to check that out, none of those have came out yet. This is the first video of the rankings for the week. There will be wide receivers, quarterbacks, and tight ends coming soon to follow this video, so if you do end up enjoying at any point in this video or want to see more videos from me, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. It's free, and I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. And before I get into the whole video, I'd like to give you guys a word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com offers a new game titled the Matchup Shop. It is the easiest way to win money in the fantasy football, daily fantasy sports industry. It is so easy to understand. Pretty much all it is betting player versus player on each of these matchup posted. There's a million matchups here that you can go ahead and look at. There's Thursday, there's Sunday, and there is Monday, and the lines do move. So understanding how the price works. So you're getting -2.5 on Nick Chubb. So Nick Chubb, whatever point total he gets in fantasy football based upon the rules on the website, -2.5 points. Jarvis Landry on the other side of it gets +2.5 points. It is very simple to figure out. If you play fantasy football, you should be able to easily dominate on this website, so make sure you guys check it out. OverlayDFS.com, and I make videos every week showing you guys which players to pick so you guys can win that big moolah, so make sure you guys check it out. OverlayDFS.com. I really appreciate them, so make sure you guys check them out. I went 4 of 5 on my picks on Thursday night last night, so make sure you guys check out those videos so you guys can win the big money as well. Let's get into it. Week 2 running back rankings. We began here at number 1 with Cmc Christian Mccaffrey going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. Now, I understand he doesn't necessarily have the best matchup of the guys on this screen, but to me, it does not matter at all. Christian McCaffrey every single week will be listed as my running back 1 because no matter what the matchup is, he is going to do good. He could play up against the best ever NFL defensive team, and the guy still would somehow get 30 or 25 plus fantasy points on a weekly basis. This guy's a running back and a wide receiver combined. Even with the Carolina Panthers not being the best team, they are still going to score against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you bet you Christian McCaffrey is going to score a bunch of fantasy points in this game. At number 2, we have Derrick Henry going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars in Tennessee. Now, this game is going to be very simple for Derrick Henry to play good because Derrick Henry owns the Jacksonville Jaguars organization. This video, a couple years ago when Derrick Henry ran a straight-up train on him, it was like a 99-yard touchdown, Marshawn Lynch-esque. They literally uploaded it to Pornhub, all right? That's what's going to happen after Derrick Henry destroys them again. He just always plays so well up against the Jacksonville Jaguars that I see no way to have him outside of my top 5 on the week. At number 3, we have Mr. Feed Me, Ezekiel Elliott of the Dallas Cowboys going up against the Atlanta Falcons. This is a perfect matchup for a running back to eat. We saw last week the Atlanta Falcons got kind of ran on a bit by Chris Carson. The Atlanta Falcons are a bad team. Chris Carson was getting a lot of dump-offs his way. Now, they're not necessarily a bad team because they have one of the best and most explosive offenses in the league with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Todd Gurley, Hayden Hurst, Russell Gage. They have an electric offense, but that defense has many things to be concerned about. The defense is just not good at all, and Ezekiel Elliott should have no problem running a train on them this week at running back number 3. At number 4, we have Alvin Kamara going up against the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday night. Now, Alvin Kamara is without Michael Thomas in this game, so I actually think he will be a lot more involved than we could have expected. Now, obviously, if they get up a lot early in this game, they may end up not giving him as much work because there was kind of worries that his spine or whatever the epidural shot was hurt because last week he didn't get a shit ton of touches, but I think he is obviously going to be very involved up against the Las Vegas Raiders in the pass-catching game. I think he plays well, got him as running back number 4 on the week. At number 5, we have Dalvin Cook going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Indianapolis Colts defense last week seemed fraudulent. They were a defense that I thought was one of the better defenses in the league, and they got bent over and clapped repeatedly by the mustache man, Gardner Minshew. Dalvin Cook always runs free regardless of how good the Minnesota Vikings are. They just want to run the ball every goddamn time. I believe Kirk Cousins only threw the ball like 5 or 6 times in the whole first half against the Packers, even when they were behind, because they want to make sure that Kirk Cousins doesn't make any mistakes. They just want to hand the ball off to Dalvin Cook and run and run and run up the field, march straight up the field. So I think Dalvin Cook going to be very involved this week, again, with the Indianapolis Colts, or going up against the Indianapolis Colts. At number 6, we have Saquon Barkley in Chicago. Now, last week, Saquon Barkley got absolutely shut down like this country when the fucking coronavirus came here. All right, that's what happened. Saquon Barkley got locked down. Still scored like 12 fantasy points, but was completely locked down in the running game. Just could not get anything going up against that tough Steelers defense, and that could be because the offensive line of the Giants just isn't very good. But with that said, I think Saquon Barkley puts up a much better matchup this week up against the Chicago Bears. He's going to be very involved in the pass-catching game, so I think that alone should be a reason to think that he could be a top 6 back on the week. Definitely a top 12 guy, but obviously kind of worrisome going up against the Chicago Bears with not the greatest offensive line in the league. At number 7, we have CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, going up against the LA Chargers. His debut was on Thursday night, the first game of the NFL season, the kickoff of season number 101 of the NFL. And let me tell you, Clyde Edwards-Helaire went crazy. The guy apparently just cannot score on the 1-yard line, though, which shouldn't surprise you because this guy's so short he has to hop on a step stool to go brush his teeth in the morning. But with that said, Clyde Edwards-Helaire going up against a tough LA Chargers defense, I still think has quite a good game involved both on the ground and through the air. I think he has a solid game, the young rookie. At number 8, we have Josh Jacobs going up against the New Orleans Saints. Now, Josh Jacobs destroyed, build and destroyed the Carolina Panthers last week. Josh Jacobs played amazing, very involved in the pass-catching game, just like I suspected, very involved in the rushing game, and up against the New Orleans Saints, I expected to be no different on Monday night. At number 9, we have Ron Jones going up against the Detroit Lions. Now, he is ranked a little high on the week. Obviously, Nick Chubb, Mixon, as well as Kareem Hunt, not in these rankings because they already played. Now, Aaron Jones, I love this matchup up against the Detroit Lions. Wasn't that great last week, but what it showed me last week was that Aaron Jones is by far and away the main back of the team. Now, I understand that should have been an obvious statement, but before the season, Matt LaFleur went out there and said, "Oh, we are going to be running back by committee." That's what he said, because I was trying to do a French accent because he's Matt LaFleur. I don't even think that was a good French accent. I don't even know what I sounded like there. I do my Borat accent much better. That wasn't even Borat. Very nice. It is a me, Borat. That is my much better accent in Borat. But Aaron Jones, I think, is going to be fine on the week against the Detroit Lions. Now, the Detroit Lions typically play quite well up against the Green Bay Packers. It's just that in-division stuff where they kind of just play well against each other. But I think Aaron Jones has quite a success up against a not-so-hot Detroit Lions defense. At number 10, we have Austin Eckler, running back of the LA Superchargers, going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I understand right now, last week, Austin Eckler completely shit the bed, hopped out of the bed, pissed all over the bed, then jumped back on it, took another shit, and then picked the shit up and smeared it all over his chest like his name was Odell Beckham Jr. Austin Eckler played bad. Well, he didn't play bad. He got a lot of opportunity to run the ball. Did not get any opportunity besides one target in the pass-catching game. Anthony Lynn came out and said, "You know what, actually, we should get Austin Eckler more involved." No shit. All right, if you want to beat the Chiefs, if you think you have a chance to beat the Chiefs, you have to get your playmaker involved. The arguably best player on the team is Austin fucking Eckler, so give him the ball. Very simple. I think they feed the beast in this game, and I think that Austin Eckler is very involved and finishes as a top 10 running back on the week. At number 11, we have Kenyan Drake going up against the Washington football team. Now, last week, up against the Eagles, the Washington football team laid the absolute pipe to Boston Scott. They locked him down. That front seven of the Washington football team is very good, but understand that Kenyan Drake can also catch the ball and run the ball, and I think later in the game, the Washington football team will get a bit deflated like a football in New England, and Kenyan Drake will be able to have quite a good game, especially with a quarterback like Kyler Murray who makes the defense wary. The play action passes, the fucking RPOs, all that stuff are going to work well. I think Kenyan Drake has a solid game. Not an excellent game, but a solid one. At number 12, we have Jonathan Taylor going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I almost like him better than Kenyan Drake. And it is close, but I expect Heinz to be very involved. I don't think Edmonds will be super involved in this game. Now, he could score a touchdown and be a fine start. Now, he is an okay start because he'll get some dump off, but Jonathan Taylor, I think, will have a great game as well going up against the Minnesota Vikings. It is clear that the Colts want to do one thing and one thing only, and that is run the goddamn ball. They wore hats last year up against the Chiefs that said run the damn ball because that's what they like to do. They have the best offensive line in the NFL for run blocking. Jonathan Taylor should have no struggles running straight through the Minnesota Minnesota Vikings defense, just like Aaron Jones did last week. Now to running backs 13 through 24. So if you guys have enjoyed this video thus far, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We begin at number 13. Todd Gurley going up against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I don't love Todd Gurley when we're talking rest of season. Before this game, up against the Cowboys, it is a good matchup. Todd Gurley last week found the end zone. Now, he only did see 14 touches, and Dirk Cutter went out and said 15 to 25 for him on a per-week basis. I knew the motherfucker was lying. Todd Gurley's only good on the goal line, but against the Dallas Cowboys, you are going to be able to score. We saw Malcolm Brown fuck the Dallas Cowboys straight in the ass last week. So I think Todd Gurley will be able to do that in this game and play quite well. Got him at running back number 13. At 14, we have Raheem the Dream Mostert going up against the New York Football Jets. Now, this one is kind of tough because I like him. I like Carson as well. I like these guys pretty much in like a same group. Wouldn't be too surprised if Carson finished one ahead of him. Wouldn't be surprised if Mostert finished one ahead of Carson. So I got Raheem Mostert here at number 14 up against the Jets. The Jets defense just is not good at all. Raheem Mostert should be able to do this with ease. The wide receivers of the 49ers are all dead. I don't know what the fuck happened to them. It seems like now they're just going to be starting JV wide receivers from the local high school. But it won't matter because Adam Gase will be too busy snorting some booger sugar in the bathroom to worry about the team, and Raheem Mostert is going to run wild just like he did up against the Arizona Cardinals last week. At number 15, we have Chris Carson going up against the New England Patriots. Not an amazing matchup, obviously. Last week, the Miami Dolphins, run offense just did not work very well up against the New England Patriots, but Chris Carson is simply built different and is simply going to be much better. Now, the real question is, do they let Russ cook in this game? Does Russell Wilson throw the ball a million times in this game? Because if that's the case, Chris Carson may be worse. Now, the same thing happened last week, and Chris Carson was involved getting dump-offs as well as rushing the ball, so I don't worry too much. Got him here at running back numero 15. At number 16, we have David Johnson going up against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, David Johnson, this is a tough matchup, but what I learned last week from the Houston Texans is to just give the ball to David Johnson, dump it off to him a million times, and that's just how it's going to work. So David Johnson will be involved even up against a tough Baltimore Ravens defense. I believe he will be given enough looks in the offense to be worthy of a top 16 start on the week. At number 17, we have Miles Booby Sanders going up against the LA Rams. Now, he does seem to be a full participant who is going to be good to go for this game up against the Rams, a tougher run defense, but I think Miles Sanders is going to need to be involved in this game if the Eagles want to win. They kind of sat him down last week as a precautionary tale like George Orwell, all right? They sat him down for really no reason because they thought that they were going to be able to beat the Washington football team. It turned out the Washington football team was not sleeping. Ron Rivera was wide awake and ready to go to town on that ass. Now, I think Miles Sanders will be involved. It will be tough for him to get going up against the LA Rams, but I believe that he will get enough dump-offs his way to be worthy of a start this week at running back number 17. At number 18, we have Nahim Heinz going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Nahim Heinz is kind of one of those guys who I'm not completely trusting yet. I'm just not. I'm not completely bought in. I think he will have a good game. I think he will be involved a lot against the Minnesota Vikings. I just worry that he won't be super involved like he was last week, but hey, we saw it last week, and that's good enough for me to think he's going to finish as a top 18 running back, especially up against a worse Minnesota Vikings team. The only worry is that with Jonathan Taylor fully starting is that Nahim's role is really dialed back this week. At number 19, we have David Montgomery going up against the New York Football Giants. Now, David Montgomery, it seemed like he was going to play last week, which he did, but it seems like he was kind of banged up going into the game. I didn't feel ultra confident in him, and he put up 10 plus PPR points. So I think this week up against the New York Football Giants that Benny Snell torched last week, that David Montgomery should be able to have a nice and solid game up against the New York Football Giants. Now, obviously, his receiving upside is limited by the fact that Tariq Cohen is on the team. Tariq Cohen just sucks away like a goddamn vacuum at those targets, but I do think David Montgomery will still be involved, probably be able to put up a nice game here up against a soft-ass New York Football Giants defense. At number 20, we have Melvin Gordon going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, last week, we talked about it earlier, how Saquon ran into a straight-up brick fucking wall, the wall of China, when trying to run against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that is obviously very worrisome. But I do think that the Broncos line is better than the Giants, so that will help him out. And I think that he will be involved in the pass-catching game as well. It does not seem like Phillip Lindsay is going to be a go on Sunday, so I think that Melvin Gordon will be relatively involved in this game and play quite well. Now, his upside is very limited by the fact that he's playing the Steelers defense. Had he been the lone back in this system with Lindsay gone, I think Melvin Gordon could have been a top 12 start if he was playing up against a much softer defense, but up against the tough steel curtain, I'm kind of staying away from Melvin Gordon. Got him at 20. At number 21, we got James White going up against the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. Now, James White last week was hobbled, wobbled, gobble me, swallow me, like he was singing WAP by Cardi B. James White is going to be fine in this game. Now, he was banged up, so I do kind of worry about that, but he does get enough usage on the ground as well as catching the ball to be worthy of a start. Just a very safe pick, probably going to range from 8 to 15 PPR points on the week. At number 22, we have a guy that could completely be a top 12 running back on this week or be a straight bust, and the load is going to drip down your goddamn face because he's going to screw you so hard. Ronald Jones up against the Carolina Panthers. This matchup is so simple. It's like doing 2 plus 2. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3 ABC type deal. Ronald Jones should be able to have a great game. But the problem is Lenny Fournette, Uncle Lenny's looking through the lens. Maybe he gets involved. Maybe some other running back gets involved. Maybe they don't even run the ball. Maybe Tom Brady says, fuck it, I want to throw the ball 7,000 times. And Bruce Arians just lets him do it since he lost to Drew Brees last week. And he was probably very sad Tom Brady, okay? Ronald Jones is going to play well in this game. But don't be surprised if he gets a little bit fucked over by Bruce Arians and doesn't get the ball as much, so he doesn't finish as high. The range of outcomes for Rojo is probably top 12 running back or like running back 25, so that's why I got him here slotted as running back number 22 on the week. Definitely a super high upside pick. At number 23, we have Devin Singletary going up against the Miami Dolphins in Miami. Now, the Miami Dolphins run defense is pretty solid, but at the end of the day, they're just going to be able to run the ball a zillion times, and Devin Singletary should be able to have a solid game. Now, the question is, how involved is Zach Moss in this game? Zach Moss seemed like the better start last week because he was so involved in the pass-catching game. I just worry about it. If I have Singletary, that's why I got him ranked here, because it's kind of a shit show after running back number 23. At 24, we have Mark Ingram going up against the Houston Texans. Now, last week, it was all J.K. Dobbins. Mark Ingram got like 4 points. J.K. Dobbins scored 2 fucking touchdowns. Big trust. Woo, woo. Mark Ingram going to be fine this week up against the Houston Texans. I'm just not loving starting him until I really see him getting involved, but could be one of those situations where it's one of those teams where you just have no idea on a weekly basis. Like 1 week it'll be Mark Ingram, next week it'll be J.K. Dobbins, the next week it'll be some random ass motherfucker who runs for 5,000 yards. So Mark Ingram, I would start him if I'm in a real big pinch, but running back 24, pretty limited though, because I don't know how much work he's going to get in this game. Now on to running back 25 through 32. So again, if you guys have enjoyed, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. At 25, we have Benny Snell going up against the Denver Broncos. Now, I have no idea if James Conner's going to play or not. I have zero clue. Reports that James Conner seems fine, right? He's going to play. Why in the fuck, if you're James Conner, are you going to play this game? You are made of glass. You kind of lucked out. You didn't get hurt for long term. So James Conner, just take a fucking rest up, and then Benny Snell will play fine in your absence, and then you come back the next week. But instead, I assume he's going to rush back and fuck Benny Snell over, and then he's going to play, and then he'll probably end up getting hurt again. If James Conner plays, don't start Benny Snell, don't start James Conner. If James Conner doesn't play, Benny Snell has high upside to potentially be a top 12 back. Last week, literally in quarters like 3 and 4, he rushed for over 100 yards. This guy is a beast. That Steelers line is so easy to run behind, so I think Benny Snell could have a great game, obviously warranting if James Conner plays or not, so make sure you guys monitor that all the way up till Sunday, and if you guys want to hear me talk about it on Sunday, I do live stream. At 26, we have Malcolm Brown going up against the Philadelphia Eagles, and here's another case of I'm just not sure if he's going to be able to do it again. I would start him. I'm just not too sure how involved Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson are going to be. Darrell Henderson was banged up last week in the game up against the Dallas Cowboys. Now it seems like he's good to go, so does he suck away some of Malcolm Brown's work? Does it become a 33% split for all the running backs? Maybe. So I would go ahead and Boyd on the side of caution and try to trade him away. Personally, he was in the trade targets video as a guy to trade away. So if you have Malcolm Brown, try to divvy him up in a nice package and ship it off. Ship it off. Let it go like a Viking funeral. Light the Malcolm boat on fire and ship it off into the ocean and let some other motherfucker deal with Malcolm Brown. At number 27, we have, just kidding, Dobbins going up against the Houston Texans. Now, like I said, this could be J.K. Dobbins. This could be Mark Ingram. I have no idea. Would I start J.K. Dobbins with confidence? No. Would I play him as a flex with a lot of upside? Yes. He has tremendous upside. He has top 12 upside due to how explosive this Baltimore Ravens offense is on the ground. Just understand he could explode straight in your face like one of those old vapes that exploded on people's face for some reason. At number 28, we have Zachary Boss going up against the Miami Dolphins. Again, I said it could be Moss, could be Singletary. But against the Dolphins, I'll do it. I'll put him as a top 28 running back. He definitely has that potential. At 29, we have Tariq Cohen going up against the New York Football Giants, the shortest man on earth. It's going to be like David versus fucking Goliath out there. Get it? The Giants versus Tariq Cohen. I'm so funny, guys. I know. It's hilarious. But Tariq Cohen, not a great start when David Montgomery isn't in. When David Montgomery plays, going to get some dump offs. Going to be okay for fantasy, but no top 12 potential, no top 24 potential, in my opinion, unless David Montgomery was to go down. At number 30, we have Antonio Gibson at the Arizona Cardinals. I told you guys. I told you all. I told you so that Antonio Gibson was going to be a fraud. Told you if you had him, you ship him off. Now, I think he won't be a fraud, actually. I think like 8 weeks in, he's going to be great. But people were buying so high on him. They were starting him last week. I said, do not do that. And they did. Now, Antonio Gibson plays the Arizona Cardinals. I have no idea how the running backs are going to be involved. I'm waiting with Antonio Gibson, holding on to him with dear life until I see what happens, because if you wanted to ship him off right now, his price is garbage, so I would not even be willing to trade him. Right now at 31, we have James Robinson, the only running back last week with 100% of the touches on his team at the running back position, going up against the Tennessee Titans. Tough defense. Let's see if James Robinson is super involved in this game. Would not be surprised if he is. Definitely a deeper league kind of start with a decent amount of upside, considering he seems like the only running back on the team that's going to be touching the ball, at least in the rushing game. At number 32, we have reject of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Uncle Lenny, Leonard Fournette, going up against the Carolina Panthers. Now, like I said with Leonard Fournette, or like I said with Ronald Jones, this is a confusing situation because Bruce Arians is either going to fire the cannons and play Rojo like a million times, or he's going to take Rojo back and play Leonard Fournette more. I don't know. I just don't know, so I would just kind of avoid both guys. I like Rojo more. I don't feel like Leonard Fournette is safe at all, so if you have Leonard Fournette, please make sure to look elsewhere this week and try not to start him. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If, again, you ended up enjoying at any point, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. While you're down there, check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. I love each and every single one of you motherfuckers, and I'll see you guys later with the wide receiver rankings video. I love you all. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Goodbye!